What's up, guys? Many of you are probably on lockdown or practicing social distancing, so we're going to take advantage of some of this time inside, and we're going to go through a quick tutorial and review of my personal favorite module bundler, ParcelJS. There's a handful of module bundlers out there, and in my last video we went over arguably one of the most popular ones, known as Webpack. In that video I also went over some environment setup that's required to get started doing some web development projects. So in an effort to keep this video a little bit shorter, I'm going to include a link in the description below for the last video or somewhere up here for you to click on, and you can go watch just the first few minutes of the last one, or you can watch the whole thing and then come back to this one when you have your environment set up. If you already have Node.js installed and you're ready with your favorite text editor or IDE, then sit down and get comfortable because we're getting started right now.
Okay, so we're here in VS Code, and we're going to just create a simple project, and we're going to follow a pretty similar project structure as the video I did in the last one for Webpack. So in this one, we're just going to put our npm init in here to make a new package, install the only dependency that we need for right now, which is going to be parcel bundler. And then this is going to take a little bit, so once it's done, we'll come back. All right, and we're done. So now I've got a basic project, and I've got my package.json here. And we can go ahead and we see that we have parcel bundler, and we're just going to add in a few script commands here. Okay, now that I got these typed out, we can see here I've got a few scripts, so I'll go over these real fast. So watch is just to make it so that we can have the compiler rerun every time that we save a change to one of our files, and it will recompile everything. And then build is a production build for if we were to deploy our website somewhere. And then serve is just going to run a localhost server and show our website and serve our files. And it'll also run watch in the background as we save and make changes, and we'll see that in action here shortly. So the next thing we're going to do is create some of our folder structure. We're going to create our source folder, and then our index.js, and then our index.html. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and type out some of our index.html file here. So next we're going to move on to doing our index.js file, and if you watch the Webpack video, you'll notice that this is probably going to look pretty similar to that one. So we're just going to write in a div element here. So now we're going to fill out the index file, and you're probably going to notice if you watch the Webpack video that this is going to look really similar, so I'll type this out and go over it a little bit once I'm done. Okay, so now that we have our index.js file done, I'll just go over what it's doing here. So as you can see, we are creating a function that returns an element that basically comes in here, creates a little div element, applies the hello world to it, and then we append that div element to our append child. And then as you can see here, we've referenced this index.js file in our index.html file. And now all we have to do is run our ParcelJS bundler, and it will take care of the rest. So we'll do npm run serve. And we can see here it's going to tell us that we have our localhost server running, so that we can go there and visit our server and see our website. So I'll go ahead and open the browser here. So you can see I've got the browser link opened up, and we can see hello world is pasted here in the browser. And so it's that simple. It's no configuration. All we had to do was add our script commands and the package.json here, and the parcel bundler takes care of figuring out the rest. And we just told it the entry point, which is what this is here, of where it needed to go, and it reads the index file and finds that we are referencing this index.js file here, and makes everything else work. And so next we'll go through what it looks like to add CSS to that. And again, this, if you watch the Webpack video, you'll notice that this looks pretty similar to that process there. So to add CSS, we're going to go in here and create a folder, call it assets, and then we're going to create another one, styles, and then inside styles we'll add our styles.css. And I'm going to go ahead and add in some CSS here, and we'll go over it at the end. Okay, now that we've got the CSS file finished out here, I'm just going to quickly go over this. This is just telling our HTML and body elements in the HTML that we want the height and their width to be 100%, and that we want everything to have the font family of sans serif, and then we want all of our div elements. And in our index file, we're creating a div element, but in here we're saying that we want our div elements to have a gray background, we want their text to be white, and that using these three elements here, we're trying to center it on the page. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to go to our index.js file and we're going to import our CSS. And then all we need to do is save, and you can see it's rebuilt our project there automatically because it's running watch behind the hood. And then if we open back up the browser, you can see without even needing to refresh the page, we've got our CS added here, and now we've got a gray box for our div element, and we've got hello world in white here, and it was that simple. We've added CSS to our project. So now we'll do a quick little recap to go over exactly the setup that this is doing and how it's all working. So we've got our parcel bundler, we've got our index file, we're pulling in the CSS here, in our index HTML file, we're pulling in the JavaScript file, and we're telling Parcel what our entry point is. So we have our source folder and index HTML, and then our style folder, obviously we have our styles, and then it outputs the files here for us to use. And then the serve the serve script here and the package.json serves everything that's in the dist folder here. And then the cache folder here is just a folder that Parcel adds to make building your project a bit faster. So if we go through, we can kind of see, we'll delete the cache folder. Just to show an example of the difference, because Parcel is actually pretty fast with the way it caches everything. So we're going to go ahead and do an npm run build. And so this is with no caching. We can see it takes about 1.28 seconds. But if I run this again, you're going to see that it's actually going to run quite a bit faster. So here it was under half of a second to be able to bundle it because it's cached everything here. And so it'll still recognize the changes and see them. It just makes it processes and kind of figures a bunch of stuff out ahead of time. So the next time it runs everything, it's able to do it much faster. So this is one of the things I love about Parcel, because it's just extremely easy to set up and get going, and there's not a lot of configuration to figure out. It's just simply calling the command you want and giving it a place to start and letting it figure out the rest for you. It's actually really simple and really fast to set up, and we got this knocked out pretty quickly.
Without trying to compare too much, especially because I plan on doing a module bundler showdown video in the near future, you might have noticed, especially if you watched the last video, that this setup was extremely fast and simple. The reason for this is because ParcelJS was created with zero configuration in mind, not as an afterthought. And while you can use a configuration file, it's rarely ever needed. I've used ParcelJS now for a number of personal and work-related projects, and I'd give ParcelJS my #1 module bundler recommendation for anybody that's starting a new project and looking for a module bundler to use, or for anybody that's already got a project and they're looking to switch to a different module bundler than the one they're already using. I'd love to hear your thoughts about ParcelJS in the comments section below. And while the next video isn't going to be about another module bundler, I do plan on going over some of the others in the near future. So drop a comment below for which one you'd like to see me do next. Thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already, because it definitely helps me out. I've noticed just under half of you watching these videos aren't subscribed, so don't be shy. Join the group, click that subscribe button, and hit the bell icon, because there's more great content like this coming your way. I'll see you guys in the next one.